Hello my friends, here we are, the final review for the Honda NSX, and it's the first time I speak in 2019, so Happy New Year everyone. Okay, the kit itself, again, Tamiya, a brilliant piece of engineering. The kit assembles itself flawlessly, and especially the rear part where the engine comes in, because it's really complex sub-assembly, and it goes together perfectly, but not without some problems, not because of the kit but the low tolerances that are because of that engineering. I had one specific problem, but I'll tell you in a bit. For starters, the chassis, as you've seen throughout the build, looks very detailed, and it was painted all with AK colors, the extreme metal colors, sorry. And as you can see, in the end, it looks fabulous. It's a mix of aluminium and steel colors that I used for it. Moving to the final appearance of the car, I really love how it turns out, the combination of white and black. It really has some contrast to it, especially because I decided at the last moment that I would paint the mirrors also black, which gives it a little bit more contrast. The problem that I was talking about with the tolerances was with the headlights, because if that tolerance is already very low and the part fits very tightly into its place, when you start painting those parts and adding the layers with the primer, the paint and the clear, that tolerance basically disappears. So after painting the body and the headlight covers, I was trying to assemble it in its place, and there wasn't any space available for it to fit. So I forced it a little bit into its place, and what happens? There was a huge chunk of paint that came out of the headlight, so I had to strip and repaint them. And it's funny because it wasn't just the clear or the base coat itself. It broke till the plastic, so it was the primer, the color and the clear that came out clean. So keep in mind always when building a Tamiya kit that you don't add too many layers on the part, I mean the area where it joins with the other part, because you probably have some space problems. After that, the interior, I was having a lot of doubts in order to choose the color combination for the interior, and in the end I decided just to add some sorry about the reflection, not easy to light up the interior. So I decided just to add some trim in the center console and on the doors. Some, well, not exactly aluminium, not titanium, but a mix between that, just to cut the monotony, because that's the only problem in these cars, these Japanese cars in the 90s. The interiors were pretty dull, so I tried to cut that a little bit. Now, the engine. Let me try and take out this part. Let me get something to add me. Okay. I told you guys that I was going to add some details, some tubing, wiring, etc, but honestly, the engine is pretty much covered all the time with this cover, and even without it you can only partially see the engine, so I really didn't want to bother much adding detail to something that you can't see 100%, so it stayed like this. Final thing I want to say about it, let me put this in place again. Okay, and it concerns the backlights. So, one thing, I'm not really proud how I ended up with the reverse lights that don't look that perfect. To be honest, it wasn't easy to draw that reverse light with the masking tape in its place and then cut it perfectly. So that's one thing I'm not very pleased with. But the thing I am, and because I've built this kit many years ago, there was one thing that I hated when looking at it in the end, and it was the Honda badge here. Because you could see it was a decal because of the carrier film, etc. You could notice it on the piece of clear plastic. So what I decided to do, I applied the decal from the inside and then painted the clear red, hoping that the decal itself wasn't too transparent, that would show the red in the Honda badge. So it came out pretty good, and I love it the way it is. And the final thing, and probably it won't be very perceptible for you guys, but I mean, if I can add some light, you can see the reflection on the front badge, because it is a metal decal from Hobby Design, and as I said in the beginning, I wanted to add the red Honda badge because the car is white, and I thought it would look much better than the original one. So I'm pleased with this one too. So here it is, the Honda NSX. Let me align this again. Pretty cool kit. It was really cheap for me, and I like this car. I have the new Honda NSX, and I plan to build it later on. But for now, this one is finished, and I'm already looking at what I'm planning to build next. So until then, take care guys, see you later, and Happy New Year.